Mickey Meehan for UCCS Athletics. I'm here with head men's basketball coach Jeff Culver. Coach, your team was back in action to bring in the new year. You hosted Dixie State on Friday. You walked away with a 77-74 victory in thrilling fashion. Blaine Devdili hit that three-pointer with around 10 seconds left on the clock. Comments on the game?
Yeah, that's a big game. That's a good team. I mean, they lost in similar fashion to Wyoming earlier in the week and on a buzzer beater. And real tough physical team, one of the best defensive teams in our conference easily. Really made us earn everything, back and forth battle, so with Dalton Walker out this past weekend, Blend was a big piece of our offense to make sure he could score. We needed him to show up this weekend with being a man down at his position, and so he did. And not only that game winner, but I thought he had a great game and really gave our offense a boost against a team that is not very generous on that end of the floor.
Look forward. You had Westminster on Saturday. You walked away with an 82-74 victory, another close game, but you end up walking away with it with some clutch free throws, courtesy of Jerron Clark. Comments on that game?
Yeah, Westminster's very similar to Dixie in that they're stingy, well-coached, run their stuff on the one end, and they don't give you too many opportunities on the other end. So it was a tight game. We had problems really loosening that game up and extending our lead. Finally, we were able to hit some free throws and come up with some big stops, really. Both games, I thought, against good defensive teams, and your offense is going to struggle a little bit, you got to get stops. And I thought that Westminster game, we got stops when we needed it. And able to pull off another close one. And winning ugly games is I think huge. And as we start to get a little healthier and get the offense clicking a little bit more, it's good to know we can rest on our defense and come up with the big rebounds when we need and to secure wins.
And you mentioned out Walker, but you brought back Elijah Ross into the lineup, just adding to that depth that this team has really had. Comments on bringing him back into the fold? Yeah,
it's going to be a process. We knew that. He's been out, 5 weeks or whatever the timeline is on that. So we knew it would be a process. The good thing is that we didn't need to rush him back in action because we've been winning, and so we're able to ease him back in and coming off the bench and spotting his minutes and just getting his legs back underneath him, getting a feel for things, working with that second unit a little bit. And we're just kind of one day at a time, one game at a time with his progress now.
Now, to look at the weekend as a whole, you had Blend named RMAC Offensive Player of the Week. He averaged 25 points per game, 58.5 field goal percentage per game, and then 14 for 15 for free throws. Comment on that achievement for him?
Yeah, that was, well earned, again, and came through in a big time for us, being a little short-handed and to go ahead and not only step up, but, shine, So that was huge. Hopefully we can translate some of that into this next weekend, and now we're also bolstering our bench a little bit more with Dalton coming back. So proud of him, though. Individual success will typically follow team success. So getting those two wins was a big piece of that too. But well deserved for him.
You guys swept the RMAC awards for the week. Padilla was named the RMAC Defensive Player of the Week, 7 steals, 5 blocks, 12 rebounds. So like you said, team success, individual success. Obviously, it's a big weekend for your team. You're heading on the road this next weekend. You're playing Fort Lewis and Adams State. Comments on what you're expecting from them or on what you're looking at your team bringing?
Yeah, and speaking of P, I mean, big defensive plays, a guy that doesn't have to score to impact the box score, and he's filling up the stat sheets with steals and block shots, and he's getting deflections and rebounds, and let alone what he's doing on the offensive end. But we had good practice thus far this week, and now we got to take this show on the road. We've been blessed with a little homestand here. It's been a while since we've been on the road. I believe Gunnison was our last road game, and that seems like an eternity ago. So, to really make a mark in this conference, you got to be able to take care of your homestand, which we did, but you also got to be able to win on the road. So, 2 quality teams we got in front of us, and we're just hoping to keep this thing rolling.
You mentioned Padilla Wang. He's able to just control the game, probably one of the better players in the conference of doing so. So, like I said, you guys can catch this team in action on Stretch Internet. They'll be taking on Fort Lewis and Adams State this weekend. Keep an eye out for that. Coach, as always, thanks for joining us. Talk about your team. Fans, thanks for tuning in, and go Mountain Lions.